All right, and we're back. So, as I was saying, is that it would turn into a Mad Max situation. I got a little distracted there with the fact that we had a ticking clock. It would turn into basically a Mad Max situation for the simple reason is because when, with all the perfectly timed deliveries that we have on a daily basis, the what's it called? The food stores, whether it's a supermarket or just a bodega, if you live in the city, they would end up running out of food within 24 or 48 hours. It could be, I would say within less than 24 hours, because the simple fact is like I just said, we're a last minute society. Everything's delivered right on time, every day, so on and so forth. When it comes down to it, like, I'm trying to think here, like when it comes to like milk, eggs, stuff like that, all the perishables, that stuff is delivered on a weekly or daily basis, so on and so forth. And that's really what it comes down to, is that if our fuel oil is, and whether it's gasoline or it's heating oil to heat your homes or anything else, if fossil fuels decided to just up and disappear for whatever reason, whether it was a lack of it or for instance, let's just say OPEC decided to not sell to an American or any Western country, we'd be screwed beyond belief. And the simple fact is well, there's nothing we could do about it. And the American government knows that, which is why, for instance, we went into Iraq in Desert Storm, I believe. Desert Storm was not about giving the Iraqi people freedom from a tyrannical regime, because we can all see that Iraq is degraded into chaos and total bedlam because Americans went in there and took away the only dictator they had that kept all these idiots in check from doing anything stupid. Yes, they were bad, but you know what? They were kind of a necessary evil, because if you look at the Middle East now, and I gotta admit, my dad called it when I was younger, didn't really pay attention to this kind of stuff. He said, you know what? It's stupid that we went in there, because as soon as we pull out, their economy and everything that we worked so hard for and American lives were taken for is going to implode. And I didn't really know what he was talking about. But looking at the political climate in Iraq and Afghanistan and all these countries, and having friends who became of fighting age, and going over there and then coming back all messed up and seeing what our American people have sacrificed to help these idiots who decide to kill each other over a book that was written 2,000 years ago by some crazy guy who said that it's okay to behead people if they don't listen to their religion, and so on and so forth. And yes, I understand that ladies and gentlemen, I don't subscribe to any religion, really. So, my point is that when it comes down to it, there's been a lot of bad things done in all religions, is what I was getting at. So I'm not just picking on one and not naming another. My point is that most of these idiots over there are just doing this for religious reasons, and we're getting involved in a holy war that we shouldn't really be getting involved in. My personal opinion is we need to pull all of our troops off of every single base in the entire United States. We need to pull every troop off of every base in the entire world. If you think about it, the United States seems to think that the entire world is the United States. We need to stop being the world police. We need to get all these bases. That's pretty much why they have an issue with us in the first place, is that we have American military bases built on what they claim is holy land. And I'm not going to dispute that with them. If that's the way you feel about it, then we should not be there. Anyway, my point is that we pull all of our troops off of every base around the world. All the money that we save on military expenditure throughout the world on foreign policy and everything else, plus the fact all the money that we spend on foreign aid, revoke that from every country that likes to talk smack about us, and see how big and bad they are when they have nothing, when they don't have a pot to piss in, because the Americans took away their only means of income for the most part, at least any large income that would be at least be any type of substantial for them. My point is that if we stopped all this spending, pulled all of our troops back into our country, and then we put them on, and then we used that money to build aircraft carriers, and then we patrol the United States waters, we patrol around the world, and if there's an issue and they ask for help, then we send a large, fully stocked, well-managed aircraft carrier with all the latest technology that we could ever possibly think of and be superior in every possible way. But no, instead we got to send a whole bunch of American kids who don't even know their ass from a hole in the ground into a combat zone. And you know what? I fell for it. And the reason why I speak about this with such conviction is because I'm 26 years old. I know that I'm not that old. I know that I don't have the most life experience in the world. But I'm telling you right now, folks, I've seen a lot more than the average 26-year-old should have. And that's why that's why I sound a little, you know, that's why I speak the way I do versus a lot of people my age who just talk out of their ass. Anyway, and not that I'm not for the most part, because I'm willing to admit one of my favorite lines is Socrates once said, "True knowledge exists in knowing that you know nothing." So back to what I was saying is that all this military expenditure could easily be quelled, and all the crap that we've sacrificed for all these other fucking idiots out there, excuse my language, but you know what, I get a little annoyed with it. I want to see America go back to the way it used to be. I want to see America's economy be like it was in the 90s and the 80s when people were capable of feeding their families for low amounts of money and gas was cheap. I mean, I'm sure I've heard it my whole life as a child that gas will never go back to the prices it was. I mean, when I was I believe I was 11 years old, 12 years old during 9/11, and I'll never forget people telling me that this is going to change the world forever, and just looking back on it all and thinking, hey, you know what? This is the world as it's going to, or this is the world as it is now, and then the world that it's going to be. I kind of saw this coming from a young age, and that's why I took an interest in all of this. And I honestly think that our economy is going to collapse within my lifetime. I think I'm going to be closer to my 50s before anything really nasty happens. But the thing is that there's a lot of bad stuff coming. There's going to start being wars over water soon, folks. There's a water crisis coming in this country, the likes of which nobody has ever seen. Within the next 20 years, there's going to be people fighting over water resources and access to it. And there's going to be a lot of droughts from climate change, and there's going to be, people are going to be, starting litigation over water rights for waterways and this, that, and the other. Things are going to get real scary real soon if we don't do something about it. We don't start, taking control and being responsible and saying, hey, I'm not going to have children until I'm a certain age, until I can financially take care of them, because the whole thing is, folks, is that kind of stuff, when you have a child that you can't take care of and you don't have the time for because you work too much and you can't get them bring them to the proper facilities as schools and so on and so forth, that breeds ignorance. And then ignorance, obviously, for instance, ignorant people committed the crimes in Ferguson. There's a scientist who says the reason why I pay school tax and property tax is because I don't want to grow up in a world, even though he doesn't have children himself, is because he doesn't want to grow up in a world full of stupid people. And I agree. Stupid people are the dangerous ones, folks. I mean, yes, smart people are dangerous too, but it's the stupid people who act irrationally and are the unpredictable ones. You can kind of tell what a smart person is going to go for, because if you're a smart person yourself, you can look at what's more strategically important, whatever the situation may be. So I've rambled long enough, folks. My family just got home, and I need to help them do some stuff, so I might come back later when things calm down. I'm kind of standing in a dark room right now, because as soon as I heard everybody shuffling in, I decided to run across my house into a dark area and make sure that it was nice and quiet so that you guys didn't have too much background noise. But either way, my point is this, is be prepared. I'm going to do that. Jesus, guys, I cannot talk today. I'm going to have to get a good night's sleep and let my brain get a rest, because like I said earlier in the previous episode, I'm just burnt out today, and that caffeine gave me a little boost. Tomorrow morning, I'm coming back with William Fawcett, leader of the statewide militia known as the Wolves of Illinois. Excuse me, I apologize for that, William, if you're listening. His militia is known as the Wolverines of Illinois. So go check out his page. He's known as either General Fawcett or William Fawcett on YouTube. His videos are awesome. He really knows his stuff. The guy's ex-military, so the guy is worth his weight in salt when it comes to knowledge on tactical situations and everything else. So that's really about it, folks. Like I said in my previous announcements, tomorrow morning I'm going to start doing morning shows. I'm going to start doing as many shows as I possibly can. But I'm going to start doing morning shows and see if I can try to get some kind of call-in line set up so that maybe I can give out a number, and if people are listening out there, they can call in while I'm on the show, and we can all conversate and have a good old time. So until next time, folks, I'm going to ask you the same question I'm always asking you time and time again. Are you ready? Have a good night, guys. I'm going to go have some fun with my family.